All right, let's get started with the review of what happened in the market. We'll look at the weekly chart for the S&P 500, the daily, and the trade of the day. And stick around because I'm going to show you something in yields, okay, that's going to be pretty interesting, especially for the members. So stick around for that, okay? So let's get started here. On the weekly chart, we can see still for this week, we've only had a range of 41.25, so really tight, small week. You know, not totally unexpected. Last week of the year for trading, we had Christmas break on Monday, so there was no trading on Monday. So this week is only a 4-day week. Today was very choppy. We'll get to today in a minute, but you can see it hit a little all-time new high, inched up to all-time new high this week so far, 48.41.5 here on the S&P 500 futures. All right. SMI's back up there, elevated in the nosebleed section. MACD sitting up here still right around 115. Of course, this is the weekly. It hasn't really changed much. But next week, we'll see these numbers will probably change. Okay, I talked about this yesterday, but divergence beginning to show up here on the weekly chart for the Big Daddy forecast. So that is kind of a new little piece of data that's come in just this week. So that's interesting. The universe indicator, I'm not really going to talk about that publicly. Yes, this is a pretty significant indicator that helps out with my analysis. If you want to know more about this, stick around. You can become a member. I'll show you how to do that at the end of the video. So don't forget, we got January 14th cycle low and the late March cycle low. Now, I mentioned this yesterday. I'll say it again today. If we don't see something like by next week, we don't have some down days, some red candlesticks going on here on the weekly chart, then this cycle either just won't happen because the market just continues to be strong, or it might be really, really shallow and then bump again. So like I said yesterday, I think I mentioned, usually you're going to see 2 to 3 red candlesticks, weekly candlesticks, when you get into these kind of cycle lows. So, and it could come a little late. It could come out here maybe like the 3rd or 4th week of January. That is possible. It could move on us a little bit because the market's been really strong. Sometimes when the market's moving really strong in one direction, the cycle low will be delayed a little bit. So we're going to just see how this plays out. But right now, market still looks strong, though a little sign of weakness here, but nothing in my mind that says that we've got a pullback going on yet. Okay, let's take a look at the daily. Now, you know, it's kind of hard to see on this chart. Okay, there we go. That was today right there. I mean, it's like a sliver of a candlestick. It hit an all-time new high, 48.41.5, but the range, I think, was 13.5, folks. This is the range. Going to be somewhere in this area right here. Watch this. 13.5. Now, that is a super tight day. It was a super choppy day. On the streaming charts that I have for the members, there's a 1 hour, the 15-minute, and the 5-minute. It was chopping all over the place, just sideways. Just a lot of upper and lower wicks on the candlesticks. When you see that, you just got a chop fest. So, and that bears witness when you only have a day of 13.5 points. So really super tight. Again, not really unexpected when you're getting down to the last, second to the last day of trading for the year. Because tomorrow, Friday, will be the last trading day of the year. So a lot of people just not trading at all. On vacation or whatever they're doing, and they're not trading. What do I think is going on here on the daily? Well, honestly, it's kind of really hard to tell when you're in the last few days of the year and maybe you don't have quite as many people trading. So it's not always easy to get a good feel for the market. But if I were to just look at the numbers, I'd say there's really a little bit more room to go up on the SMI. But the MACD continues to be plastered right near the top. The market, this is like an overcooked market. And with these little slivery days, look at these last nothing days here. Like the market's going nowhere. So you would think normally, if it wasn't the end last week of the last few days of the year, I would normally say this is a sign there's a pullback coming. Okay, but being the last few days of the year, that comes into the mix. Not many people trading. It gets it's kind of really hard to do an accurate analysis because things are a little weird the last week of the year. But any other time of year, I'd say this is indicative of something that's going to happen just before a pullback. or another leg up, right? You'd get another big, huge bounce up like this stuff when you're moving up. And then over, and you run out of gas and you go up, right? Or it finally says that's it and starts taking a dive down into the second week of January. Okay. But right now, I still don't see any indication that I can honestly say there's a pullback. Yes, we have some really small days that may or may not have a lot of significance simply because of what time of year they're happening in. All right, let's take a look at the trade of the day, and then we're going to look at the 10-year yield. You're going to like that. So you may be asking yourself, with a range of only 13.5, can you really have a trade of the day? Well, yeah, you can. It may not be a big one, but it's still there. Here's when it happened at exactly, I think, just what, 7:55? 7:55 here on the 5-minute chart. So this chart gets streamed to my members. We're on the second last trading day of the year, and was there a possibility of still making some money? Yeah, there was, right here. Look at this. And the Get Us Plus indicator should say alerted and said, hey, there's a trade here. It's a possible trade. Sure enough, it happened. Very choppy. You can see it's just a massive chop. Look at this. The top was right around, what, almost 40-ish, I guess, within the intraday. And the low was about 28. Yeah, so there you go. There's your 12 to 13 points, right? That's it. This little rectangle. This is all that happened today. Super, super tight. But yeah, this is definitely tradable. Looked like it was, 3, 4, 5 points right in here. Okay. Then there was another one. This was on the hourly chart. It showed up here on the 5-minute chart too. Right here, I think, what was this, like 235. And on the hourly chart, there was a cycle low projected for 3 o'clock. Well, sure enough, look, 235, you start getting the action, and bam, it comes down. Okay. And it ran from about 38 down to 30. So maybe 28 to 10 points total with some wicks in there. I'm saying you're catching 6 or 7 of this. Maybe 8 if you're really, really sharp. Let's call it 7 points worth of profit there. Okay. So you got maybe 4 here, 7 here, 11 points. 11 points probably realistically out of a day that only had 13.5. It just goes to show you. That's your total range of the day. And I think with some paying attention to the charts and the Get Us Plus indicator, I think you could have extracted maybe 11 points out of this range. It's doable. It's even on a choppy, crazy day like today with almost no candlestick, you can still make money. So those are the 2 trades. That one and this one are the 2 that stood out. There were some other ones in here. This one was a little bit ugly, but it was also doable. Okay, this one was basically talking about this big pullback right here. They're not as concrete, right? They're a little bit dicey, and you can just see all the upper and lower wicks all over the place. On the other, I think on the 15-minute chart, there's just wicks everywhere. This one's bad enough, but the 15-minute chart's super ugly. So those 2, this one and this one, are the 2 big. I shouldn't say big, but the 2 trades of the day that stood out to me. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at the 10-year yield. All right. So here we are on the 10-year yield. This is, for those that don't know, we're using the futures, the micro, the 10Y. Now, there's other ways to do this. I just chose to use this product because this product is super cheap to trade. Okay, so if you're looking for look at the trade futures, I think on the TOS platform, it's only $352 of margin to trade this product for one contract. So that's if you're new to futures, super cheap to trade it. You got to have a margin account, obviously, and you have to have your futures enabled, but whatever. So let's take a look at this. The candlesticks, red and green, that is the 10-year yield. This is an hourly chart. Okay, so I want the members really to pay attention here. Yes, I'm showing this chart publicly, but I'm not going to do this every day for the public, okay? But for members, what I want you to pay attention to is look at these cycles down there, this hourly chart. These cycles are banging. Look at this. Banging. Very predictable cycles. This one ends right here. This one, look at this. Look at all these lows here. This one was a little off, okay? And then the market, you see how the market behavior changed a little bit in this whole area? You can see it, right? See how these are all banging on? Cycle on. Even this one over here, look at this. On. They're all on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 6 hourly cycles just absolutely banging. It's money in the bank. It's easy peasy, 1, 2, 3 easy. right? Like that saying. Then over here, all of a sudden the behavior changes, right? You know, the cycle, there's a little low like here. There's a kind of a tiny little low right there. And then the market just kind of falls out. Okay, and then over here, we do get a cycle low. It's a little bit late, but it happens right here. Okay, that's what we call a behavior change in the market, when all of a sudden the cycles don't really line up anymore. Okay, you can see that the 10-year yield started changing direction. Here it's been going down, 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 and then boop. So we're going to pay attention to this. We may have to rework these cycles just a little bit, right, members? We're going to rework these cycles a little bit, and we're going to make bank on the cycles too. Okay, for right now, the next cycle is projected to be 6 a.m. That may change. That could change. All right, so we'll keep an eye on this. I noticed that the S&P 500 futures are trading right now, but nothing is on this 10-year yield. So I'll have to look at the schedule, because I haven't traded this in a while. I got a feeling it doesn't start till 7 p.m. or something, the yields, because I don't see anything over here for the new day. Last one traded at 3 p.m. There's nothing here, so I think it probably starts later on tonight or something. Right, but that's pretty cool. Right, this is very, very useful. Now the blue line is the futures, the S&P 500 futures. I have it right there, ES. That's overlaid. That's that blue line. Look how tight they are correlated. They're not perfectly correlated, right? Like this just tracks sideways, S&P 500, while this was just, you know, this kind of went up a little bit and tracked sideways, whereas this was just down. But usually they're correlated pretty tightly. Look at this, it's crazy. Oh, there we go. It just started trading. A little dot right there. Somebody just did a trade on the yields. Okay. So look how that's the only point I'm trying to make for the members is this is a very tradable product. Okay, especially since it's so cheap. And if you're new to futures, it's great. Even if you're not new to futures, it's still very tradable. Okay. So, sometimes I'll trade these if I just have some extra margin, right? That's not tied up, and I can see there's a good trade coming. Yeah, I'll take a few contracts. Why not? It's extra money in the bank, right? So super nice. So pay attention to this possible hourly cycle low for the 10-year yield. And just remember that if the yields go down, bond prices go up. It's just the opposite. Whatever yield is doing, bonds will do the opposite. So if yield is going down, then bonds would go up. If yield is going up, bonds will go down. That's the relationship. Whatever yield's doing, bonds will do the opposite. And if you know what bonds are doing, you may know what the stock market's going to do. Now, they're not always tightly coupled, but sometimes they are tightly coupled. Okay? So it's really important to pay attention to the correlation between the stock market and in this case, the 10-year yield. Because they're just, look at this, just like tight. Look at this thing's crazy. Right? So what I'm going to start doing, I think, is I'm going to see if I can include in the nightly email for the members this chart with my cycles. And in this case, the cycles are going to be the hourly cycles. Right? Because I know a lot of my members want to trade opportunities during, you know, a shorter time frame than just a daily chart. The S&P 500 is going to stay daily, because if you want the hourly and the 15 minute, the 5 minute, just look at the stream. You look at my streaming charts on the service. Okay, but for the 10-year yield, I'll send this. Start probably sending this in an email with the nightly email. So if you're a member, you're not getting the nightly emails. Make sure you sign up on the Discord server. Make sure you put your email address. Let's switch over to that now, and I'll show you how to do it. Right, so if you want to become a member, you can join by clicking on the link in the description below this video. Just make sure you read those instructions very carefully before you join, okay? But then you click on the link, it's going to bring you over to get a server. You click on server shops, takes you over to here, $7.99 a month. Now, I was talking about the emails. If you're a member or you become a member and you want the nightly email, put your email address right in there, the emails only channel. Right, and then I'll pick it up and you'll get the nightly email. The nightly email includes a chart, a daily chart of the S&P 500 with the cycles on there, and sometimes I'll have support or resistance on there as well. and also a few sentences of my opinion about what I think the market's going to do. But I think now I'm going to start adding the 10-year yields in there as well. All right, we'll see how that goes. So that's really helpful. And that one's going to be the hourly chart, because you saw how tradable that product is, right? All right, so I'm not going to be putting the 10-year yield every day necessarily in the videos, because you're going to get it in the nightly email, okay? All right. Let's talk about, if you're going to join and you want to become a member, let's talk about what comes with the membership. First of all, you get the streaming charts down here. So once you join, you click on this, S&P 500 stream, and in there you're going to get the 1 hour, the 15-minute, the 5-minute streaming chart. And just like we saw in the trade of the day, there's a Get Us Plus indicator on there. On the hourly chart, there's the cycles, just like we saw on the 10-year yield, but that's going to be the S&P 500 instead, obviously. So you get the hourly cycles, really, really nice. Whenever that Get Us Plus indicator suggests that there might be a trade, it sends an alert over to this S&P 500 alerts channel. Okay, that's super nice. So if you're not watching the stream, you can still get alerted. Okay, this app will load on Windows desktop, Windows laptops. It will work on a mobile device, but like I said, make sure you read the instructions before you join. Okay. So that's super cool. You're getting the 3 charts that are streaming all week long, 5 days a week, whenever the market's open. Okay, and then here you get alerts for these as well. Now these don't have streaming charts associated with them, but you still get alerted. Gold, crude oil, top 30 stocks for the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. And then daily only, this would be any of these top 30 stocks that their daily chart has a Get Us Plus alert, then it'll go in this channel. More like for swing trades. Premium symbols. Every day I put anywhere from 2 to 4 files of symbols in here. So it could be future symbols, optionable stocks, industries, anything that looks like might being ready to get shorted. Okay, so they'll be in this channel here. Okay, currency. Sometimes I trade currency using currency futures. If I do, I'll put them in there. Okay, I talk about the nightly email. I track solar activity because it has a lot to do with the universe indicator. Okay. Like I said, join. You'll know more about that in the nightly emails. Okay, I don't really make this too public. Okay, fixed income. This is corporate bonds usually. I trade some corporate bonds from time to time. I also put in there, now that we have a lot of inflation, I'll put in there some CD rates occasionally. And I have a savings account that's paying me over 5%. So that one's in there too, okay? And then these 2 channels up here are just general chat, S&P 500 chat, and member chat. If you have a support issue, you can put it there in member chat, okay? If it's email specific support, then put it in this one. Okay, and then, so that's all these channels here. Everything here is membership only channels. Okay, this is the only one that's public. There's nothing in there. It's more like, hi, how are you? Welcome to the server. All right, if you've joined or you're going to join, please read the rules. And there is a rules about be nice to everybody else. The refund rules are in there. And the disclaimer that says I'm not a financial advisor. I only give my opinion. Okay. All right. That's it, everybody. Happy trading. God bless everybody. We'll talk to you all real soon again next time.